run. Yeah, recording in progress. And yeah, so could you please tell what's the initiative to which you can engage the working group?
I mean, the working group, I think, can definitely play an important part in the CODEX protocol going forward. So I think last time when we talked, I already mentioned it. So the dPID is basically part of the CODEX protocol, which we will separately launch like as an independent protocol this summer.
Yeah.
And we will transfer it from DeSci Labs to the DeSci Foundation with the purpose to establish it as an open scholarly infrastructure under the POSI guidelines. So that means we will need to set up a governance mechanism that gives all potential stakeholders a potential to get involved and to be involved in the decision making. So we have to come up with a good governance model for that. And there's also, so there's basically going to be one part of the governance that is going to be very technical. So it's basically about further development of the open source protocol. So that is going to be one part, and another part is then more organizational. And I think the dPID working group could be the seed for the technical governance of the protocol, or it could at least be involved in the technical governance of the protocol. And yeah, just like you guys have been doing, just keep focusing on dPID itself. The protocol itself is going to be a bit broader in scope, of course. It's not just dPIDs. It's the entire open source infrastructure. It's also all the indexing that we're doing on IPFS and on Optimism and Ceramic. So it's more than just the dPIDs by itself. But I think you guys definitely can play an important role in this, and I would love to see this evolve.
Yeah, I understand. I understand about. I think we would really help in this initiative. Let's see, because well, for now, I don't think that many people, including Jonas and the others, would have an opportunity to connect now. I mean, to the initiative. So, is the technology already launched, or it's still under development?
I mean, the protocol is under constant development, so we're already using a large part of CODEX right now, basically as the backbone for the design application. And all the open source software is, of course, in our GitHub repository that I'm sure you guys know. And this is constantly being updated. And yeah, I think the main thing is just going to be that, we will transfer legally the CODEX protocol from DeSci Labs to the DeSci Foundation, and then have a bit of PR announcement around this summer. But the protocol itself is actually operational.
Okay. So there is already some. Oh, ciao, Sergio.
Hi,
hello.
Sergio.
Oh,
I'm
on the train.
Yes, on the train, going to work.
Yeah.
So maybe I will be muted most of the time.
No worries.
Yeah, so we have already discussed that that Philip wants us to participate somehow in the audit and evaluation of the CODEX protocol as a part of the decentralized initiative. And yeah, so okay, it's an AI. So I think we could participate in a governance model. Do you have a clue about which governance model is under implementation? So would be
No.
just okay?
No,
So
no. So I think we just really didn't have time yet to really think about how this is going to be done. But we do have the intention to follow the POSI guidelines on this. Are you guys familiar with those? Maybe I should just share the link.
yes, please share the link.
Yeah. Actually, just looking this up here. So this is openscholarlyinfrastructure.org. I'm just gonna put that in the chat. And I can also just briefly share
Yes,
this.
please.
Here. That may be helpful. Let me see. I didn't really see the right screen. Ah, here it is. Okay. Yes. So this is basically just a one-pager that they have published. So in terms of governance, so they say coverage across the scholarly enterprise. So the governance should basically give every potential stakeholder the possibility to participate in this. So non-discriminatory participation or membership. So they say we see best option as an opt-in approach with principles of non-discrimination and inclusivity, where any stakeholder group may express an interest and should be welcome. Representation and governance must reflect the character of the community or membership, must be transparent. Basically the infrastructure cannot lobby for regulatory change. However, an infrastructure organization's role is to support its community, and this can include advocating for policy changes. Then there is this concept of a living will, where they say a powerful way to create trust is to publicly describe a plan addressing the conditions under which an organizational service would be wound down. It should include how this would happen and how any assets could be archived and preserved and passed to a successor organization. And any such organizational service must also adopt POSI and honor the POSI principles. And then sustainability. So also very clear, they say time-limited funds are used only for time-limited activities. The goal is to generate a surplus, create financial reserves, mission-consistent revenue generation, and revenue should be based on services, not on data. And then in terms of insurances, everything should be open source, open data, and no patents. So this is it in general. So this gives us a lot of scope for actually coming up with a good governance mechanism. And I would actually love to hear also ideas from your side, how something like that could look like. So obviously we could look at how other organizations are doing this. Maybe also think about, potential problems that existing governance mechanisms have. So we could look at, for example, Crossref and DataCite as examples, right? So they are open scholarly infrastructure, but I think we all agree that the way that they're being governed also created some problems.
Yeah, I see Sergio has already raised his hand. So could we please give the microphone to him? So Sergio?
Yep. What I wanted to share is that the PKP, the organization in charge of OGS and OMP, the scholarly publishing software, they signed this POSI on March this year, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm in touch with Juan Pablo Alperin. He's also from Argentina, but he lives in Canada. And maybe for sure, he will be able to share with us how PKP governance works and how it evolved over time. And I think that the experience, I think it's the beacon on open scholarly communication, PKP. I think it will be very insightful to hear from him, and 100%. I could arrange that.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love that, and I completely agree. I mean, the Public Knowledge Project is a very nice example of open scholarly infrastructure, and it's also in the spirit of what they're doing. It's also very closely related to what we're doing, right? So they're even using the same software license, the AGPL 3.0.
Yeah. So then about the initiative.
Just to give him. sorry. I will not. We go further on discussing and giving shape to the way we will organize, but keep in mind that this meeting could be arranged whenever you want.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to learn from them how they're thinking about this, what their approach is, what they learned in the process, what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, so I also would be glad to participate to see how the governance model are implemented. Because now it's let's say it's becoming more and more important after this point in the national standards of USA, and especially after the very strange to me request from Europol, which so they are trying to reduce the level of including the level of encryption and peer-to-peer connectivity in the networks at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, so it's around let's say the last mile of the information exchange.
Oh, wow.
And I have no doubts if it will be, because it's lateral the direct lobbying. And once it is lobbying, if it would be fulfilled, then it will affect the librarians and identification solutions at all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So to be honest, I would say that we should withstand with it, and we should decide how to do. So, Sergio, you said that the meeting could be arranged. Do you have any estimation about when and how?
I have to get in touch with Juan Pablo, and when I think maybe we should give shape to how we will be working from now on, and then contact him. No, maybe
Okay.
I think that will be better.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, in general, I think what we're trying to do is basically create an operating system for anyone in science to create and share and store scientific data and scientific artifacts, right? So in the form of research objects on this peer-to-peer distributed network, which protects from both link rot, content drift, but also data silos, and enables data sovereignty. So this is really what we're trying to achieve. And for that, we do need as many stakeholders as possible to not only use the protocol, but also to contribute to its further development and to be involved in its representation and governance. So this is really what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So yeah, the initiative for me, it looks great. Yeah. So I have a question for you. Inside the CODEX protocol, if there is an implementation of a blockchain excluding excluding ceramics, do you know?
So honestly, I think for specific technical questions, it would be much better if I bring Edward, our protocol architect, on the call and we discuss this with him. So I don't want to say anything wrong. So so you guys may know that my training is in economics, so I'm not a software engineer, and I was involved in the actual programming of the protocol. So what I know is basically is secondhand knowledge, and I don't want to get that wrong. So it's better if we basically keep technical questions for Edward. But he said that he would be happy to join one of our calls of the dPID group when he's back from vacation. So of course he's on vacation at the moment, summertime. But Andre, maybe explain a little bit what motivates your question.
You mean, when I was trying to determine how to direct the development, how would we do after Eric left, and let's say Slava also said that the system is should not be considered production ready right now. I was studying the systems based on two solutions. The first solution is actually ours. It's for blockchain.
Uh-huh.
It comes for blockchain. And the second one is IRO, which is a solution based on the, let's say, key-based, private key-based authority infrastructure. The thing is, for blockchain, we have 2 points on which we should consider that they are not, it's wrong word to say vulnerable, but they could bring for us additional problems. The first one is possibility of doing a hard fork of the blockchain.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last point.
Yeah, so the first one is a possibility to do a hard forking of a blockchain.
Wrong forking. You mean that
Yes.
the blockchain is being compromised by
Yes.
by a faulty majority?
Yes, by the faulty, and especially by a faulty stakeholder.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we could imagine this, then we would have a branched system, and then it would not be valid anymore.
Yeah. I mean that's of course the major problem that they all try to circumvent. I mean ultimately what we're doing is we're building on Ethereum via optimism, right? So like you would have to basically compromise Ethereum.
Well, about the Ethereum, we don't know because there are too many people involved. But let's say we could imagine the majority from let's say the librarian society that once would be ever hacked.
How would they hack Ethereum? I don't understand.
No, it's not about Ethereum. If we would use a blockchain, then we would be facing the situation when one of the biggest stakeholders is becoming non-authorized. So the part of the blockchain issued by him is becoming invalid. It's well, it's difficult to imagine, but when you have your document database compromised, it's possible. Yeah, it would be avoided using the let's say somehow protected key value storage. Now we have it in a context of ceramic. This is why I'm asking. Yeah. From my point of view, if we would use ceramic as non-integrated part of the system, because now it's let's say it's a JavaScript and TypeScript API, which is integrated inside the system, and let's imagine that the package for ceramic is being it's not, I don't see it's being attacked, it's being damaged for a wrong commit or something like that. Then the system, if we have no, let's say, the code stored on our own system and identified by its own, then we would have a problem. So these are 2 points I wanted to explain.
Okay.
And this is why I have doubts about usage of blockchain as a ledger. Yeah, because a private key infrastructure in let's say in connection with the concept of authorship, which is used actually it's implicitly used in the IPFS and explicitly used in IRO, there could be more or less more plausible for us. Because it's not a blockchain, it's already maximal redundancy. So everyone should have an exact copy instead of having a blockchain.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I don't know how realistic or how important this particular scenario is in practice. I mean, so I mean, if we're building on Ethereum, then I think that the chance that Ethereum is going to get compromised is extremely small, given
Ethereum, yes. Ethereum, yes.
participate and how much money is being staked in that system.
Oh yeah, and and the thing, another thing I am thinking about is let's say the gas.
Right, exactly. And the gas is exactly why we're using optimism basically as an L2. So this is, of course, a way for us to bundle transactions and to dramatically reduce gas costs. So otherwise, this would not be sustainable.
Yeah, because once you don't have enough gas and you don't have, let's say, the mechanism for earning the gas for the ordinary user, which is as sustainable as the whole system is, we are already in trouble, and we experienced this once.
No, so this is exactly why we're building on an L2, and it's so we're currently planning to import the entire OpenAlex data set into the CODEX protocol. So that means over 50 million open access research articles. And it's exactly in this scenario that scalability and cost become super important, right? So obviously, we cannot make 50 million transactions, even on Optimism. That would be like way too expensive. But it's always possible to just set it up in a way that you basically have one dPID and then basically have all these 50 million articles like as a subfile of that one dPID. So ultimately, you only have one transaction. So if you're being smart about how you're using the protocol, the actual costs are actually really, really small.
Yeah, I understand. And to be honest, I need to think about a bit this model of usage. Yeah, to study it. Yeah, I think for at least for some cases it could be very useful once you have many trees of interconnected documents. So it should be, for example, very useful for knowledge graphs. But the exact setup for now I cannot really well imagine. Could you please drop a link also to the data set?
Which data set?
OpenAlex.
Oh, OpenAlex. Yeah, sure. Of course.
Yeah. Just it is for my own curiosity, but I think
OpenAlex is fantastic. So this is if they wouldn't exist, somebody would absolutely have to invent it. This is really great. Okay, here I'm dropping this. Here you go.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. And I will study it just a bit later, and to see how it would be used. Yeah. Because once trying to experiment with DAG, I discovered a lot of things connected to the misambiguations between the CIDs.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Sergio.
Sorry. Yes, I don't know if you're familiar. There is research going on in Brazil, and with the support of La Referencia, that is linking ARC with a decentralized blockchain PID. So maybe this is something that you generate one PID, the decentralized PID, and then use ARC for the rest of the. So many papers can have one decentralized like shoulder of the key, and then the rest of the key is done with ARC.
What do you mean with ARC?
ARC. The ARC key is something that is developed by the UCLA. It's also a persistent identifier.
Okay, interesting.
Yes, I think that's something very interesting. And it's already being researched by the Brazilian scientific, I don't know, exactly how they call it, but it's like the La Referencia and the IBIC is the Brazilian office for science. I can share papers about that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
Yep.
it would be great. I don't speak Spanish, but also Portugal.
I think no, the ARC documentation is in English.
Okay, great. So
And also I'm in touch with John Kunze, who's in charge of it. He's from LA.
Interesting.
Yes, that's something that, so in that way, you don't have to generate so many blockchain shoulders for the keys. You just create one, and then with the ARC, you generate the rest of the keys.
yeah, it's
That's an
really
idea.
it's really an interesting idea. It seems really really interesting because in terms of also the value storage, I would like to study the model well.
Great.
I cannot. You are still muted.
Or can be used just like a hint for us to think in something new, but to know about it will be nice.
Yes. Yeah. So if you can, you may just share the link. Maybe afterwards.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
We will be using the same Mattermost exchange information. Okay. Okay. So I share through there.
Okay, great. Great. Just put it on a public forum or somewhere else and we will see it.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Andre, and can you maybe give me a high-level summary of what you guys have been working on in the last couple of weeks in the dPID working group?
Well, last meeting was not successful, so no one connected.
Okay.
So I guess just Jonas and the others were on vacation. So now I am working on actually on the searching for a new implementation model after the current dPID nodes model failed for the real application.
It failed for a real application? What do you mean with that?
We were trying to use it for identifying the artworks. The thing is, for, let's say, for the ordinary people who don't know what is ORCID, what is the identification purposes, they need literally a different interface. So the thing is the development costs. The thing is development costs for all of them. So we
Right.
were,
Okay, but what exactly was the problem there? So org IDs is of course that's our preferred method of identifying users.
yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, once you need to recognize the PID, you need only to query for now, only to query the Scilabs. So the storage, not the storage, the entry point for the system was still unique. I was trying to deploy on my test station, but there were, to be honest, a lot of problems.
Have you informed our developer team about this?
Afterwards, I did not open the issue because afterwards I had so I don't have so much time to really well understand what is the exact problem and why the system still is coming to the Scilabs. Yeah, so I was in need to investigate the code, and but I had a lot of tasks to do from my letter. Yeah, so this is why I wasn't opening any issues on GitHub. Yeah, so maybe I would try again, but to be honest, it will be probably by the end of September. Because now we have a lot of tasks to do in the modernization tasks of Eleta. And the second thing, when you are coming with let's say identifying real things like artworks, the people want the prefixes.
Prefixes in what sense?
In sense that it's the data, metadata, stored under the known prefix of the current issuer.
Okay, like their current website or whatever.
Yes. So it's really becoming important. So it was a first, it was a first request.
Yeah, I think this is, in general, this is possible with the protocol because it supports aliases for the dPIDs, right? And I mean, you can, so we are already using DOIs now as aliases for dPIDs, and in principle, you can give all different types of aliases to the same dPID as well. This is definitely possible.
Yeah, and but the main question is that the infrastructure on which the system is actually deployed would still behave like a centralized infrastructure. So the people are very difficult to see the advantages. This is a problem.
You mean centralized in what way?
In way of entry points. So there is no there's no opportunity to run on your own machine something, for example, the local website, and to put the data and then access it from anywhere else.
Right. So I think this actually shouldn't be a problem. So like the interplanetary file system should enable this without any
in terms of
problem.
IPFS, yes.
Right,
But
exactly.
in terms of the interfaces, yes. Sergio, do you want to say something?
Yeah, that if we go forward in researching with the last part of identifier generated with ARC, and then one decentralized PID for an institution or a journal, then you can decentralize more the minting part.
Yeah, it's completely. I completely agree. And another point is the legal recognition. So the question was, if someone would try to steal my my PID for the open data, who will be responsible for the metadata, for example, connected to the given artwork? And how to determine the issuer if someone would try, so there should be, let's say, a mechanism to prove that accept or cede. Because to be honest, only scientists are in knowing about what ORCID is.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is primarily a protocol for science, of course. Yeah.
So this was to be honest, second biggest problem.
So this is the theoretical possibility of somebody stealing your wallet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be ORCID, and could be used. You can use ROR as well for an organization.
So and people think that so I don't really understand the problem. So why do people think that this is more likely than somebody hacking into your email account?
When it comes to the things like cryptocurrencies or blockchain or something like that, they are always aware about if something is decentralized, then they are still afraid that someone may just say it is mine.
Well, that's not how it works.
Yes, yes. And in terms of artworks, it's just, let's say, the straightforward thing. Yeah. And also there is a let's say the huge doubts. I have it from the ground true because Linda is Linda, my friend, who is a artwork trader. So she says that somehow the people may be in need of prevention of the, let's say, unexpected spreading of the digital copy of an artwork.
Mhm.
So she also said how this system would help us to report. And this is also, I think, in terms of current situation on the library and librarian society, it could be also important.
So, I mean, and so I think I just have two high-level remarks about this. So the first one is that I completely understand that in the you know, when you're dealing with art, that this is a concern, but we have developed this protocol for open science, so that's a completely different use case, right?
Yes,
yes. Talking about open science, that I don't really see a problem why there shouldn't be many copies of the same file by different people being stored by different servers. I think it's actually a huge advantage.
To be honest, the only concern I have here, after working for many years in Russia, it's let's say the somehow veiled plagiarism. So you are issuing the PID for some paper, then someone, for example, translates your paper into to 3 languages, publishes it with the fake reviews, and having the derived PIDs.
Right.
Yeah, this is a huge problem for even for me. So this is the reporting mechanism is still becoming important there.
Right.
But plagiarism is always a problem in science, and it's already punished when discovered. But there's no PID that will prevent it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not about the PID. It's not about the PID.
The solution would not come with from a PID.
Yeah. It's not about the PID tasks. It's about the what people are expecting if we would want to, let's say, have our system widespreading.
What I think is if minting a PID is decentralized and easy to do for people, but you could prevent if a protocol is established for AI that that when using a paper, a research with a PID, that should be cited, for example. I mean, as an author, and artificial intelligence should be able or should be forced to cite the sources they're using. And if that source have a PID, that will be easy to establish in the future. Now it's a completely anarchy, and it's spreading too fast, too large. But the establishing of decentralized persistent identifiers that could be easily used, especially in the global south, that we don't have access to DOIs because the paywall.
Yeah.
Then we will be preventing this data colonization or imperialist scientific exploitation that is being done with the training AIs with our open access Diamond system that we have in the global south, because we embrace Diamond open access because it's easy for institutions like public universities to publish with the PKP software. and most of our production is open access, but and 80% of them, they don't have persistent identifiers to protect them. And then the AI is using to train itself, but not citing when it's used.
Yeah, so now just not to stay within the social contract, because now we are coming into the social contracts. The first thing we have expected from the people is, let's say, technical, let's say, sustainability in the terms of deployment. And the second is, I would I better say, is responsibility granting. So if someone wants to be responsible for his PIDs, he wants to feel protected, despite it is technically sustainable or not. So this is a terms of the recognition. As you as an economist, I think you can completely understand how it works.
Sure, but yeah, I mean, again, to Sergio's point, I mean, this is basically a copyright issue. This has nothing to do with PIDs per se. PIDs actually help a bit by at least making sure that you're referring to the same document. But what you're worried about is really it's a copyright issue that's completely different.
Yeah. And I mentioned it just to see what the people are connecting our works with. Yeah. Because I think we should keep this in mind. Yeah.
I mean, at least with the system that we've built, there is a clear and absolutely 100% transparent link between the identifier of the document itself, and the person who committed that document to the protocol.
Yeah,
that can be proven, and that's actually a very strong case to establish copyrights. But if somebody tries to infringe that, that's still a problem that you have to solve outside of the technical world.
Yes. This, I completely understand this. Well, I think the next point should be the discussion with you and the technical guys about the actual implementation of CODEX and the possibilities of it of being two things: vulnerable and deployed.
Yep, absolutely. I would love to do that. So Edward is going to be back in the office towards the second half of July, and then we can try to bring him on to one of the dPID working group calls that you guys are scheduling after that.
Yeah, so next biweekly meeting should be next week on Tuesday.
Yep, he's not going to be back yet.
Okay, yeah. So I hope maybe Jonas or someone else would be. Sergio, are you available next Tuesday?
I think so. Maybe a bit complicated because maybe I will be at home with my daughters, but I think so. I will be available.
Okay. It would be great.
Yep.
And we can dedicate. Yes.
Can you please make sure that in the calendar invites, I think you're probably sending around calendar invites for the working group meetings, right?
It may happen, but as I'm using the internal system of Electra, it would be just link. I will do my best to send also the calendar invitation.
Yeah, that would be great. And please make sure that you include my email in it, because otherwise it doesn't end up on my calendar and I'm not gonna.
Yes. As you are included in the working group list, then you will be.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yes, for sure.
Great. All right.
Yeah. Philip, you are also using the Mattermost. You're there as well.
I have access. Honestly, I didn't have time yet to actually read everything that is on there, but I do have access. Yes.
Yeah, do you prefer if I send it the documentation also to your mail, or?
Yeah, I mean, to my email is always better, because then at least I will see it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, guys. Great talking.
Thanks.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Ciao.
Ciao. May I ask a little question to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, didn't you try to deploy nodes or codecs?
No. I didn't explore the system yet.
Okay. Because yeah, because it seems from the technical point of view, I am the only who is working on the deployment of IPFS, IRO, and nodes.
And how do you feel it works?
Well, for IPFS, as it's well established, it works well. So I'm pretty sure that by the end of this, at least by the end of this year, I would have a working deployment. Let's say the deployment pipeline. For IRO, it's like that. But for CODEX, for me, it seems plausible to be able to deploy it. If we are speaking about nodes, I have a lot of doubts because it doesn't seem the code is very it's clear of let's say the unexpected links.
Okay.
Yeah, so the API doesn't seem so, internal API doesn't seem so clear. I mean,
so the product that is CODEX is very different from the one we were looking before, the dPID,
CODEX is
lab.
Yeah, the CODEX is an underlying library. But the thing is that nodes implement some features that CODEX library doesn't still have.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's let's say for the programmers it's an ordinary problem, but I cannot say that the product is production ready.
But the CODEX, if it's really this arc, and we create something new to replace nodes, that could be a more decentralized system that can be deployed by each institution.
Yes,
what do you think
yes, this is a possibility, and this was what we have discussed with Slava last time. Because he said that he was trying to understand how the system works and he failed.
Yeah, so it will be good that the nodes instance will be installed in each institution, and with the help of ARC, create the last part of the key of an identifier that is using both DPI, the blockchain, and from CODEX, and the ARC last part.
We can consider this. It could be even the viable use case. Because
and easy to sell it to each university or research lab to install them in, because they will be owning the minting part.
Yeah.
And they just have to be authorized with a first decentralized persistent identifier that will lock that minting process to one shoulder of the key.
Yes, and this is what we are asked about. Let's say in all use cases I could see in the, let's say, not in the networking world, because in the networking world is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
I think if we go in that direction, that can be a very plausible system to easily adopt by.
Yeah, let's say the sustainability and simplicity. This is what we are lacking about right now.
And that's I don't know if you're familiar, the PKP the main positive aspect of PKP is the OGS is very easy to be adapted and adopted by institutions.
Exactly. May you drop a link, because I will publish the chat.
Okay, to drop a link here about PKP.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a second.
Because I plan to publish this discussion on my YouTube channel, and then it is better to have all of the links.
Yeah, and they signed this policy agreement.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Thank you. I didn't hear you very well.
They signed, as I said before, they signed this policy, this POSI.
Yeah. Now I understand. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
The rest of the links I will be sharing on Mattermost, so because I'm on my cell phone now, and it's very hard to share links.
Okay. No problem.
The rest I will share in Mattermost. Okay.
Yeah. So okay. And I will publish the announcement for the next biweekly meeting very soon.
And if you want the links I share in Mattermost, you want to publish them in the comments in the YouTube, go ahead.
Of course, I will do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you very much. See you.